Oyez. This Honorable Supreme Court of Tennessee is now in session. The Honorable Chief Justice Jeffrey Bivins presiding. God save the United States of America, the state of Tennessee, and this honorable court.
Thank you, Mr. Hibner. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a very happy time to be with you. This is usually the time when we as a court or at this ceremony we do as a full court when we have travel across the state. We hold ceremonies normally in Knoxville, in Nashville, in Jackson, and Memphis, and go that way for the whole week. So we can do these in person. Unfortunately, as you know all too well, the pandemic has caused many, many changes of schedules and how we handle things these days, not the least of which you have had to deal with, and that is also the bar examination. So we appreciate you being diligent. We appreciate you persevering. I cannot imagine how difficult it had to be finishing up law school as the pandemic is starting, and then the unknown factor of how and when the bar exam would be. But you have, as I say, persevered. You have been successful. And now is a time for all of us to celebrate. It's a time of welcoming you into the practice of law in the state of Tennessee. And because of that, we have at least wanted to have some type of a ceremony to celebrate with you those accomplishments that you have. We also want to give friends and family an opportunity to see that those things happen too. So that resulted in this live stream event where we will swear you in one by one in just a moment. But it also allows those friends and family to watch on through our YouTube channel. I welcome you, friends and family members. Glad to have you with us. And we know that you have made a large contribution to your new admittees' progress here and ability to have this day become a reality. Those of you who are new admittees, I encourage you to remember that as well, that you don't make it through this and be successful by yourself. You have friends and family of some type. Some have many, some only have a few that have helped you in one form or fashion to be so successful in your endeavors here. And it's culminated in you being a member of this profession. Being a member of this profession brings with it responsibilities. It is a privilege. And so we encourage you, if you have not already started doing so in law school, to begin very quickly to help out those citizens of our state who cannot afford legal representation, to do pro bono work for them, to work with legal aid societies to help with those things. So what we ask that you become involved in that, and we encourage you and point out to you that it truly is a responsibility to give something back to your community. With that being said, this time I'm going to turn the mic over to Ms. Michelle Sellers, who is the president of the Tennessee Bar Association, to say a few remarks on behalf of the Bar Association. I will just say personally, I want to thank Ms. Sellers for her contributions here. She has taken basically 2 full days to participate in all of these online ceremonies to introduce those applicants who do not have individual sponsors. So Ms. Sellers, I and other members of the court certainly appreciate that. And we would welcome you saying a few words about the Tennessee Bar Association.
Thank you, Chief Justice Bivins. I appreciate the opportunity to be here today and to make a few remarks. My name is Michelle Greenway Sellers. I am the president of the Tennessee Bar Association, and this is perhaps the very best part of my job, to congratulate you for your accomplishments, to join you in your celebration today, and to welcome you to the practice of law in the state of Tennessee. My favorite part of today is that everyone leaves happy from court. This is truly a great day. I know that many of you have friends and family who have been instrumental in this journey. On behalf of the bar, I want to thank them for their sacrifices that made this day possible, and I would welcome you all to thank them as well. The journey has been different for everyone here today. What called you to law school, what motivated you to do the work and to sit for the bar is unique to each of you. While our differences will bring strength to the profession, we share an enduring loyalty to the core principles which define who we are in the profession: civility, respect for the rule of law, and an agreement to hold ourselves to higher standards for the benefit of the public. The practice of law can be difficult, but can also be very rewarding. You are entering the profession at a time of change, and there will be opportunities for your leadership and your guidance, and I encourage you to embrace those opportunities and help shape the future of our profession. I encourage each of you all to join the Tennessee Bar Association Young Lawyers Division and join your local bar associations. Those bar associations will help you get involved in pro bono work. They will help you in your day-to-day work activities, and you will gain friendships that will last throughout your careers by being in those bar associations and getting to know people in your communities and across the state of Tennessee. Know that you are part of the legal family that stretches out across the state of Tennessee. We're a caring community. We stand ready to assist one another. We are very proud of your accomplishments, and we look forward to you joining our ranks. Congratulations to you all today. We are very proud of you. Thank you, Justice Bivins.
Thank you, Ms. Sellers, very much. And I would echo that the bar associations can be so helpful to you in your careers. And it does establish some long-standing ties that you will have and can be very beneficial in many, many different ways. And again, it's a good way to serve your community. So thank you very much, Ms. Sellers. Okay, at this time, I think we're about ready to begin our ceremony. As Mr. Hibner pointed out, we will start with those applicants who have individual sponsors. We will do those sponsors and then move over, and Ms. Sellers will introduce those of you that the remaining folks on the list. All right, Mr. Hibner, I believe we're ready to begin our ceremony.
Your Honor, we are ready. Mr. Floyd?
Yes, Your Honor. May it please the court, I'm John Floyd. I'm a member of the Nashville and Tennessee Bar Association. I would like to introduce to the court Mr. Nathan Dickerson. He's a graduate of Ole Miss School of Law. I've known Nathan for over 20 years. I have no doubt that he will be an asset to the Tennessee Bar and to his clients going forward. Mr. Dickerson has successfully completed all of the requirements to practice law before this court. And at this time, Your Honor, I move for Mr. Dickerson's admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Thank you, Mr. Floyd. It's my pleasure on behalf of the court to grant that motion. Mr. Dickerson, we welcome you to the practice of law in the state of Tennessee and wish you the best.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Mr. Brady, you can go ahead.
All right. Thank you, Justice Bivins. May it please the court, I am Edward Brading of the Washington County Bar. Today, I have the privilege of introducing to this court Alice Edith Brading Haston. She is a 2020 graduate of Vanderbilt University School of Law, honored with the Order of the Coit, and is currently an associate with the Nashville firm of Sherrard, Rowe, Boyd, and Harbison. Based on my acquaintance with Ms. Haston for her entire life, and cognizant of my paternal bias, I can attest without reservation to her exemplary moral character and fitness to practice law. Alice Haston has successfully completed all of the requirements to practice law in the state. Therefore, I move for her admission to practice before this court and the other courts of Tennessee.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brady. Well, we do see from time to time a parent, a mother or a father, or perhaps sometimes both have an opportunity to move the admission of a son or daughter. And even though this is a special time for everyone, I think it is a particularly special time in those instances. So I congratulate you, Mr. Brady, as well. And also, I'm happy to grant that motion. And Ms. Haston, we are happy to have you as a member of the Tennessee Bar. Congratulations and wish you the best.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Crownover. You're on. You're up.
Okay. May it please the court, I'm Derek Crownover, a member of the Nashville Bar. I'd like to introduce Megan Keelan. She's a graduate of Belmont undergrad. She's a graduate of Belmont Law School in 2020. She's from Franklin, Pennsylvania. This usually gives you a chance to brag a little bit on your hires, but Megan came into our firm and we told her that we were not going to hire anybody. And then during a hiring freeze, we said the same thing, but she made herself entirely irreplaceable. And she is going to be a great member of the Tennessee Bar. And she's successfully completed all the requirements to become a member of the Tennessee Bar. And I make a motion for her to be admitted, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Crownover. It's a pleasure to grant that motion. Ms. Keelan, we welcome you to the practice of law in the state of Tennessee. Congratulations. Wish you the best.
Thank you so much.
Good morning. May it please the court, my name is Gil Yulehorn, and I'm a member of the Memphis, Tennessee Bar. I would like to introduce Nicole Teresa Milano, a graduate of the University of Memphis School of Law and a member of Bass, Berry & Sims Law Firm. Nicole has successfully completed all of the requirements to practice before this bar and will be a great addition to our community and to our profession. I therefore move for Nicole Teresa Milano's admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Thank you, Mr. Yulehorn. It's a pleasure to grant that motion. Ms. Milano, congratulations to you. We welcome you to the practice of law in the state of Tennessee.
Thank you, Your Honor.
May it please the court. I am Loretta Harbor. I'm a member of the Tennessee Bar, the Knoxville Bar, and I've been practicing for 33 years as an assistant United States attorney for the Eastern District of Tennessee. I would like to introduce to the court Anna Mayfield Rennick. I first met Anna when she was a very little girl because her parents are dear friends of mine. However, I really got to know Anna when, as a rising senior at Northwestern University, she interned at the Knoxville U.S. Attorney's Office during the summer of 2013. And my colleagues and I were impressed with her intelligence and her desire to learn and her keen interest in the law. And then after college, she worked as a researcher at the Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C. And then last year, she graduated from the University of Virginia School of Law. Currently, Anna is a member of the firm of Debevoise and Plimpton in New York. She has successfully completed all of the requirements needed to practice before this bar. She has great integrity, compassion, and generosity, and those qualities combined with her considerable academic accomplishments will make her a really, really fine lawyer. So I'm therefore honored to move for her admission to practice before this court and all the courts of Tennessee. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Harbor. Ms. Rennick, it's a pleasure to grant that motion, and we welcome you to the practice of law in the state of Tennessee and wish you the best.
Thank you, Your Honor.
May it please the court, I am Jack Rush Hicks. I'm a member of the Nashville Bar. I would like to introduce my son, Carol Cheshire Wrigler, who's a graduate of Belmont College of Law and a member of Schrum Hicks Law Firm in Franklin. Prior to law school, Mr. Wrigler was served in the United States Navy. He has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for Carol Cheshire Wrigler's admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Thank you, Mr. Hicks. Again, I know it's always a true extra pleasure to have a son or daughter, and so congratulations to you. Mr. Wrigler, we welcome, it's my pleasure to grant his motion. We welcome you to the practice of law in the state of Tennessee, and we also thank you very much for your service to our country. We wish you the best. Congratulations.
Thank you, Your Honor.
May it please the court, I am Andrea Perry. I am a member of the Nashville and Tennessee Bar, and it is my great honor to be here today to introduce a young woman that I have known since she was a high school student, and I had the pleasure of mentoring her for a number of years, and I've seen her through high school, through college, and through law school. She is a woman I admire and respect greatly. Melissa Tribune graduated from the University of Kentucky and recently received her JD from the University of Memphis Cecil C. Humphrey School of Law. I know without a doubt from knowing Melissa and her great desire to serve that she will be a great asset to our bar. Melissa has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar, and it is with great pride that I move for Melissa Tribune's admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Thank you very much, Ms. Perry. It's my pleasure to grant that motion. Ms. Tribune, we welcome you to the practice of law in the state of Tennessee. We wish you the best and congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, I think that concludes our introductions of those who have individual sponsors. At this time, I'll ask Ms. Sellers to come in, and we'll begin with those of you that do not have the individual sponsors but are truly well represented by Ms. Sellers.
May it please the court, I'm Michelle Greenway Sellers. I'm a member of the Tennessee Bar, and I would like to introduce Grace Peach Anderson. Ms. Anderson is a graduate of Samford University and the University of Alabama School of Law. She will be associated with Digby Family Law, PLC. She has successfully completed all the requirements to practice before this bar. I therefore move for her admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Thank you, Ms. Sellers. It's a pleasure to grant that motion. Ms. Anderson, congratulations. We welcome you to the practice of law in the state of Tennessee.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I would like to introduce Courtney Black. Ms. Black is a graduate of Vanderbilt University and Washington University in St. Louis Law School. Her honors include graduation from undergrad and law school, cum laude. She will be associated with Bass, Berry, and Sims. Ms. Black has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for her admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Thank you. Pleasure to grant that motion as well. Ms. Black, congratulations. We welcome you to the practice of law in the state of Tennessee. Wish you the best.
Thank you so much.
I would like to introduce Yongyong Choi. She is a graduate of Vanderbilt Law School. She has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for her admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Happy to grant that motion as well, Ms. Sellers. Ms. Choi, congratulations. We welcome you to the practice of law in the state of Tennessee and wish you the best.
I'd like to introduce Alexander Edlund. He is a graduate of the University of Kentucky and the University of Tennessee College of Law. He will be associated with Wiseman Ashworth Law Group. He has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for his admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Thank you, Ms. Sellers. Happy to grant that motion as well. Mr. Edlund, congratulations. We welcome you to the practice of law in the state of Tennessee and wish you the best.
I'd like to introduce Jing Wei Fan. He is a graduate of the University of Virginia and Vanderbilt Law School. His honors include being a Dean's Scholar. He will be associated with Klein, Solomon, Mills, PLLC. He has successfully completed all requirements to practice law before this court. I therefore move for his admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Thank you very much, Ms. Sellers. We're happy to grant that motion. Mr. Fan, congratulations. We welcome you to the practice of law in the state of Tennessee. Best of luck.
I'd like to introduce Jamie Elizabeth Glass. She is a graduate of the Florida State University and the University of Tennessee College of Law. She will be associated with Merlin Law Group. She has successfully completed all requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for her admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Thank you, Ms. Sellers. Happy to grant that motion. Ms. Glass, congratulations. We welcome you to the practice of law in the state of Tennessee and wish you the best.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I'd like to introduce Michael Holmes. He is a graduate of the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga and the University of Memphis Cecil C. Humphreys School of Law. He has successfully completed all requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for his admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Thank you, Ms. Sellers. I'm happy to grant that motion. Mr. Holmes, congratulations. We welcome you to the practice of law in the state of Tennessee and wish you the best.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I'd like to introduce Ashley Hurley. She is a graduate of the University of Georgia and Michigan State University College of Law. She will be associated as a former assistant district attorney in the Coweta Judicial Circuit, Noonan, Georgia. She has successfully completed all requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for her admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Thank you, Ms. Sellers. Pleasure to grant that motion. Ms. Hurley, congratulations. Welcome to the practice of law in the state of Tennessee, and we wish you the best.
Thank you, Your Honor. It's a pleasure.
I'd like to introduce Andrew Robert McNicholas. He is a graduate of the University of Tennessee at Knoxville and the University of Tennessee College of Law. His honors include graduation cum laude. He will be associated with the Tennessee Department of Children's Services. Mr. McNicholas has successfully completed all of the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for his admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Thank you, Ms. Sellers. It's my pleasure to grant that motion as well. Mr. McNicholas, congratulations to you. We welcome you to the practice of law in the state of Tennessee and wish you the best.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
I would like to introduce Joseph North. He is a graduate of Emory University and Belmont University School of Law. His honors include being the president of Board of Advocate and Moot Court National Champion. He will be associated with Waller, Lansden, Dortch, and Davis. He has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for his admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Thank you, Ms. Sellers. It's my pleasure to grant that motion. Mr. North, congratulations. We welcome you to the practice of law in the state of Tennessee. Wish you the best.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Look, come here. I'd like to introduce Olivia OBrien. She is a graduate of Sewanee University of the South and Mercer University School of Law. Her honors include graduation cum laude. She will be associated with the United States Bankruptcy Court for the Southern District of Mississippi. She has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for her admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Sellers. I'm happy to grant that motion. Ms. O'Brien, congratulations. We welcome you to the practice of law for the state of Tennessee and wish you the best.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I'd like to introduce Chelsea Puroni. She is a graduate of Duke University and the University of North Carolina School of Law. Her honors include being a competing member of the Holderness Moot Court and being a published staff member and a managing editor of the North Carolina Journal of Law and Technology. She will be associated with KMA Zuckert LLC. She has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for her admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Thank you, Ms. Sellers. I'm happy to grant that motion. Ms. Puroni, we congratulate you, welcome you to the practice of law in the state of Tennessee, and wish you the best.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I'd like to introduce Emily Snyder. She is a graduate of the Pennsylvania State University and William and Mary Law School. She will be associated with Bass, Berry, and Sims. She has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for her admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Thank you, Ms. Sellers. That motion is granted. Ms. Snyder, congratulations. We welcome you to the practice of law in the state of Tennessee.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I'd like to introduce Bailey Vega. Mr. Vega is a graduate of the University of Arkansas and the University of Memphis Cecil C. Humphreys School of Law. He will be pursuing an LLM in taxation at Northwestern University in Chicago in the fall. He has successfully completed all the requirements to practice law before this bar. I therefore move for his admission to practice before this court and the courts of Tennessee.
Thank you, Ms. Sellers. It's a pleasure to grant that motion. Mr. Vega, congratulations. We welcome you to the practice of law in the state of Tennessee.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, I believe that concludes our list of new admittees today. Did we miss anyone? All right, Ms. Sellers, thank you again so much for your contribution to these services. I will point out that this is a unique day in many ways, but for what we've done here. But it's also a unique day in the sense of each lawyer leaving here will have won their motions today. That won't happen very often. So anyway, we do appreciate you being here with us. We are happy to welcome you to the practice, but we again remind you of the responsibility that comes with that. In just a moment, we will finish the ceremony with really the most important part, because you have to take this oath of office, this oath, before you are officially a licensed lawyer of the state of Tennessee. As I read through this oath, I would ask you to focus on the actual words of this oath and try not to simply regurgitate what's said to you or what you have in front of you. Just recently, within the last couple of years, our court redid the oath that new lawyers in the state of Tennessee take. The reason we did that was to put a strong emphasis on civility and integrity and fairness. So when we look at when you go through this oath, you will notice that I will stop and have you take each one of those, say each one of those separately. Unfortunately, our profession has seen a decline in the civility in our practice over many years now. And obviously that's also true of our society today, but we want to put a strong emphasis on bringing that back to our profession in this way. A lot of that revolves around the younger lawyers in our practice. So with you have a responsibility to engage. You represent your clients zealously, but that does not mean you're not civil to the other parties and to the other lawyers that are involved. So please, as we go through this oath, try to remember that. Keep that as a priority in your everyday practice of law, and let's try to bring the civility back to the practice of law. All right. Now, if each of you that are new admittees, as Mr. Hibner noted, if you will unmute we'll do that. And if you will then raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, and state your name.
I, Michael Holmes.
Alexander Edlund.
Do solemnly swear or affirm.
Do solemnly swear or affirm.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
And the Constitution of the state of Tennessee.
And the Constitution of the state of Tennessee.
In the practice of my profession.
In the practice of my profession.
I will conduct myself.
I will conduct myself.
With honesty.
With honesty.
Fairness.
Fairness.
Integrity.
Integrity.
And civility.
And civility.
To the best of my skill and abilities.
To the best of my skill and abilities.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations. You are now officially members of the Tennessee Bar. Thank you. We're very proud of you. We're happy to participate with you today. And we wish you the absolute best as you enter your new profession. So with that, I think we have finished our business here today. So Mr. Hibner, if you will adjourn court for us, please.
Congratulations, everyone. This honorable court is now adjourned.